Unakonga seasoned. You're a seasoned veteran.
Oh, please.
So a little quiz shouldn't do you any harm. And it's
Okay.
very simple.
Can I
So
say pass if I'm not sure? Am I timed? I
no.
have time to think.
It's very quick fire. It will be very instinctive.
So I can say pass.
Well, you can, but because it's you, I will not allow you to pass. Because I know you personally.
Oh wow.
I want to put you on the spot.
Okay.
So, tell me which of these do you prefer? All right? First, popcorn or hot dogs while watching your movie?
Popcorn, but caramel, not just any popcorn.
Okay.
If it's not caramel, then I'd rather do hot dogs.
Okay. So, both, basically.
No, like listico, caramel popcorns. But if the option is just kawaida mid popcorns, then I'd rather just, Julia, I'd rather not have the popcorn. Then I'll have whatever it is there. Hata kama si hot dog. I can imagine I'd rather have water.
You really hate salted popcorn.
I do.
Oh my god.
With a passion.
And they're my favorite. But okay, NASSIM NKATHA for you. Movies or TV shows?
It depends. It honestly does depend. I would do TV shows if it has an interesting take on it, but I do watch movies, specifically the old Marvel. I can watch their movies, but any other type of movie, I will have to really, you'll really have to convince me to watch it. But if you're talking about old Marvel, by old Marvel I mean kina Iron Man, ya kwanza and everything, yes, but not this new
not the new age.
Yes, not the new age Marvel. I'm finding it a little bit
hard to get into.
There's something that's missing. I feel Stan Lee went with
he went with the magic.
He went with the magic.
Okay, final one. Watching movies alone or watching movies with Bay?
Alone.
Is he watching?
I talk a lot. I talk a lot through movie, and I preferred. I know it will sound weird, but I am the kind of person that comments in between. I'm the kind of person that pauses, rewinds, and then replays. And I realize most people don't like that. They get easily pissed off, especially uki pause just to catch what's just happened. Like I don't like missing anything, and especially if I'm really interested in it. So if I keep on pausing and everything, you'll always hear some sort of comments and everything. And even if it's not a comment, you'll see the discomfort and whatnot. I want to enjoy it. If it's something I really like, I want to enjoy it alone. So I'd rather watch it alone.
Okay.
That sounds lonely. right on
the
today's
cue. Yeah, on today's topic.
Yeah, but that's just me.
Fantastic. Good to know. With Bay, of course.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Hey, honeymoon period, bwana. Hey, we don't say.
Stop. But yeah, I like some company. Good company, to be specific. I like good company.
So you can never watch a movie alone?
I can. There's some movies I'd like to watch. I prefer watching alone.
Okay.
If it's something that I consider, a bit too close to my taste, that someone would watch and feel, this is too weird. Yeah. But generally, I like good company, and Bay is good company.
Must be nice. Hi, Bay.
So, on today's topic, loneliness. For those who haven't watched Thunderbolts is one of Marvel's latest projects, released in cinemas in May and came out on streaming last week. So Thunderbolts focuses on a group of underrated mercenaries, the likes of Florence Pugh, who plays Black Widow's sister. There's the Red Guardian, there is the Winter Soldier, there's Ghost, there's US Agent John Walker, and there's also Taskmaster. So these people are being used by DeFontaine, who is one of, I believe she was in government, a governor or something, or a senator, and she was running these covert operations where she's trying to put together her own Avengers team, but it's a shadow ops thing. But she's under investigation and under the threat of impeachment, and so she's trying to clean up evidence. So she sends these people to go and get rid of each other, but they end up working together once they realize that the Fontaine has set them up. And what she's mostly trying to clean up is what what she calls Project Sentry. So Project Sentry was another super soldier program trying to recreate the success of Captain America, but they were trying to roll in all the Avengers into one, and hence we get Sentry, or as seen on the trailers, Bob. So Bob ends up being this very, very overpowered character who is seemingly undefeatable. And like you've seen in the trailers, and for those who've watched the movie, you've seen how he does his thing, and how he poses a threat to everyone else. And he has an alter ego called the Void. Now, the Void is what is an allegory for mental health. And throughout this movie, we see each of these characters are very solitary. You know, they're always by themselves, and that's what De Fontaine uses to, you know, as leverage to get them to work for her. You know, you are nothing, you're a nobody, nobody knows you, you have no one, the only one you have is me. And so they just, you know, cruising through these missions to try to fill the void that is inside them. And now Bob, on the other hand, is the extreme of that, to the point where he has an alter ego and he's turning everyone literally into shadows, right? And so that's what inspired today's topic. Nassim, you've seen the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that's what is inspiring today's topic, loneliness. Each of these people are moving in very solitary ways, and their backstory shows this. They are people who have been abandoned and lacking in purpose, and, you know, having a void inside of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even from the director, Jake Schreier, he says that was something he was also very ardent to make sure comes out in the movie, because he too had a friend who was going through a tough time, and he was also coming off from a Netflix series called Beef,
Mm-hmm.
that also explores loneliness and depression. So he seems to have this experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, we're trying to let people know through this show that you know, film draws from real life because they're made by people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to get into the real meat of things, you know, like in real life. We do have these all powerful characters, you know, they're superheroes, they can kick ass, they can jump off buildings, but they are also human, you know. They face things that we too face on a day-to-day basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we have phases in our lives where we can start to feel low
Mm-hmm.
and lonely. So, just aside from the movie and also from your experience, Nassim,
Mm-hmm.
what are the situations, or what are some of the scenarios that make people turn themselves as lonely? Like, yeah, this is what's happening, this is what I've experienced, and now I think I'm a lonely person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to first of all start by defining the terms,
Mhm.
because one, you can't talk about loneliness without mentioning isolation
Mhm.
and without mentioning withdrawal. So let's
Mhm.
first of all understand what these three terms mean, and then I'll try and base my answers
Mhm.
vis-a-vis the movie,
Yeah.
because I feel like that would be perfect for this show.
Yeah.
So first of all, loneliness.
Mhm.
So when we talk about loneliness, we're looking at the emotional state of things.
Yes.
When we talk about isolation, we're looking at the physical state of things.
Mhm.
When we talk about withdrawal, we're talking about the psychological state of things. So what
Mhm.
does that mean? Loneliness, when you look at emotional state of things, is whereby it's accompanied by extreme sadness,
Mhm.
extreme emptiness,
Yeah.
the void, and all that.
Mhm.
So what happens is, once loneliness becomes at a certain level, then people want to be by themselves. So that's where isolation comes in.
Mhm.
You realize if this person was a jovial person, life of the party, or something like that, you find they're easily keeping to themselves. They are avoiding social gatherings. They're couch surfing more often is considered healthy and everything. Now that's isolation. And then now withdrawal is, I'll define it by giving an example. Imagine yourself, you're in a room full of people. People are having fun and everything, but your mind is not there. Like someone can literally be talking to you, but your mind is just blank, and it's literally not there.
Yeah.
So that's what we call
withdrawal,
in the sense that it's more of a psychological thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like the way you can get into an argument with someone and everything, and you switch them off. Wanaongea, but you're not even picking whatever it is that they're saying. So it's more of a psychological state of things. And that's why you find people say you can be surrounded by so many people and still be lonely. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Like you can have a bunch of friends, but you still feel lonely. You still feel empty. You still feel there's something missing.
Yeah.
So, what causes loneliness? That was your question.
Yeah.
Let's look
more like okay, yeah, you
what
can
leads
tell
to
us
loneliness.
Yeah, the causes, if because you're the professional, you can tell us if there are actual physical causes. But my idea, which I stand to be guided, was there are scenarios that make people feel that way. But if you can call them causes, then sure, go ahead.
Let me teach you something. Anytime you have a conversation about mental health, you need to understand a triangle. The triangle states your thoughts affect your feelings affect your behavior. And with these thoughts, before these thoughts happen, there has to be triggers. So those are what you're calling scenarios, situations, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So a trigger can be anything and everything. A trigger can be a situation. Something has just happened and it triggered a certain thought, and that thought triggered the whole pattern.
Yeah.
A trigger can also be based on your sensory motors, sense of smell, sense of taste. You've seen something, you've heard something. The reason is why this happens is because also our memories are stored also in our sensory motors and everything, in the sense that unaweza sikia harufu fulani alafu inakupeleka almost 10 years ago. So whatever triggered that thought is that sense of smell.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you're saying, scenarios or activities that are happening that are leading to this are basically just triggers, and can be considered like onset or what brought that about.
Yeah.
So now when we look at loneliness, let's look at all the characters in Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
How has their relationships growing up been? Including whoever Winter Soldier you get.
Yeah.
First of all, he's in a very different time. Everyone he knew died, including his best friend.
Yeah, he's a man out of his time, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, he was more like an experiment, and everything.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of warmth that he never got. So when we look at everyone in short, what I'm trying to say is everyone in that cast or everyone in Thunderbolt has an attachment issue that is based from how they were brought up or their history and all that. So when you look at that, what happens with attachment, when we're dealing with attachment, we look at something called core belief. Attachments formulate core beliefs. So core beliefs are basically the glasses we use to look at life with, right?
Yeah.
So these attachments are derived from experiences we've had throughout life.
Yeah.
So you have this person that grew up. Let's use Nanyo's sister. What is her name?
Yelena.
Yes.
Yeah, I always like to say it with the Russian accent in my head. Yelena.
Yes.
Yes, Yelena.
You know her history with the Black Widows and everything. You saw how they were raised up. There was no warmth, and like it was. So she has this pre-existing thought of it's all her. Like she doesn't belong. You get, like, she can't formulate any concrete or meaningful relationship with anyone. And that's why even when it's the only person again that she felt they were close, which they were not even close, was the sister that was sacrificed by, you know, Thanos and everything.
Yeah.
Even them, they were not that close. So for them, their loneliness is derived from also the attachment, you know, they've had and everything. Again, another thing is feeling like you don't belong. That's lack of sense of belonging. You feel like, I don't belong in I don't belong in this group, I don't belong in this group. Niko too, like, so that can also lead to, you know,
the feeling of
yes.
loneliness.
Another thing is comparison. You know, some of them would compare themselves with either who they were in the past, or they would want to compare themselves with past Avengers.
Yeah,
and what,
like John Walker, and
exactly.
always, you know, him comparing himself and constantly being compared to Steve Rogers,
Yes.
Captain America. You know,
Yes.
people calling him what's the name, discount Captain America.
And
yeah,
na kwa mtaa wanamwita Timu Captain America. Captain America from Timu.
yeah.
You get right? Exactly. So
yeah,
that sense of comparison also, you kind of feel like there's something off with you, or there's something missing. So that can also bring that, and most importantly, lack of self-compassion. If you look at majority all of them, they have some, they lack some sense of self-compassion. Like, even when they make some kidogo mistake, you find either they beat themselves over or something. They feel like they're not good enough and whatnot. So loneliness can be derived from quite a few places. And at the same time, depression. Because when I was watching the movie, 3 distinct mental illnesses or disorders popped up. 1, PTSD. Majority of them have experienced PTSD, which can also be a leading cause to depression and loneliness. 2, depression and loneliness is also one of another distinct mental health issue. And 3, DID. So what DID is what kwa mtaa tuita split personality, which it's not the actual term. The actual term is dissociative identity disorder. This is when you find Bob has created a whole alter ego, and the alter ego is literally taking over. That's why you find when the alter ego is there, he behaves a certain way, and when the alter ego goes, he goes back to that shell of a, you know, person who
he's very innocent,
timid,
can't throw a punch,
exactly. So you find this personality shifts, they literally affect even your perception in terms of how you're behaving in that particular moment and everything. So
okay. So
sorry
just
for
to...
digressing. So
it's okay. It's all, you know, it's all coming together. I was lost in, you know, the schooling. So just to like cap it all off, right? So we're saying loneliness can have a number of causes. So one of them being upbringing, in the likes where we see, you know, Yelena and her sister, and also Bob, being raised in abusive environments. Yelena being forced to, you know, the harsh training to be an assassin, and Bob, you know, growing up with abusive parents. And these are things that later on become triggers, right?
True.
We also see loneliness can be as a result of comparison, like through John Walker, you know, constantly comparing themselves to someone who is better, or you know, someone you look up to, you know. And I think that this goes also hand in hand with the lack of self-compassion, or a dwindling self-esteem, because if you are confident in yourself and are compassionate about yourself, then you wouldn't feel the need to compare to someone else, right? And there's also loneliness from a lack of belonging, right? Where you say, like through Baki, there are people around him, but you know, you're not in the you know, with people around you that you can relate to. And I feel like that is something that is very relatable. I feel maybe the other characters are not so you know, grounded or relatable, like as relatable as Bucky and as John Walker, because we often put ourselves in spaces for convenience. We often put ourselves, with the friend group so that we can look cool, or so that we maintain our work relationship. Going for drinks after work, but you're not really connected to these people, right? That's you're If you've experienced something like that, you're basically Bucky in this situation. You're out of your element, not with your people. And we often also become John Walker, where we are, we have our idols, people we look up to, and we are always comparing, and so this can cause us to detach and start to feel like we are not enough, and that starts to be the cause of our feeling of loneliness. So yeah, I think you've covered it really properly in terms of also lining it up with the movie characters. So shout out to you for doing your homework.
You. There's also one thing that I had forgotten to mention, which I feel like majority of us do that, especially Gen Z and also some millennials, especially the unemployed ones. Sorry. Couch surfing.
Couch surfing?
Yes.
What's couch surfing?
Couch surfing ni ile umekaa tu kwa couch doing nothing, either watching a movie, your dishes are not done and whatnot. We saw one of the characters that had that behavior, whereby the house was very untidy. They were on the seat until Nani went and knocked on their door and everything. So what happens with couch surfing?
Just that was Red Guardian.
Yes.
Yeah,
Red
go watch
Guardian.
the movie. We
Please.
gave a spoiler alert. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So what happens with couch surfing is, if you do it for too long, you start presenting depressive symptoms.
Yeah.
Reason being is your mind needs the feel-good hormones.
Yeah.
So if you're just seated, you're not even taking a 30-minute walk, you're not doing your dishes, you're not doing anything, umekaa tu kwa couch, una watch TV too. So the more your brain is not releasing these feel-good hormones, the more you start presenting depressive symptoms. So you might end up thinking or feeling like you're depressed, but all you need to do is just get out of that couch and take like a 30-minute walk.
Active.
Just be active to trigger those, to feel good hormones, serotonin, endorphins, and whatnot.
Isn't that a bit, because you want to feel good because you're relaxed, but you also need to feel good and move out. So I feel like someone like Red Guardian is stuck in that limbo. You feel good because you're relaxed and it's zero pressure.
Is it really feeling good though? How do you define feeling good?
Let me say comfortable, not feeling good. Yeah, comfortable. You don't want to put in the work, or have to socialize or get up to clean. You just want to be, in your own space without moving. But you could do better if you are active.
I feel like there's another line or baseline we need to understand or draw, which is, when do you know you're okay and when do you know this is getting out of hand?
Yeah.
Because again, there's nothing wrong with couch surfing for a day or two.
Yeah. You're
just relaxing, either it's a weekend and everything.
Yeah, and
you have a nice series and whatnot. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I feel also that with the rise of mental health terms also going around, you find someone can be quick to diagnose themselves. And nimekuwa depressed the weekend, nimekaa tu, but are they really depressed?
No, that's the line I want us to draw.
Yeah.
Again,
just go ahead.
Like I mentioned, couch surfing si mbaya. You can take a weekend, watch a movie, take a mental health day. Mind you, get what I've said, a mental health day. I've not said a mental health week, not a mental health month. So when do you start realizing things are getting out of hand?
Yeah.
When whatever it is that you're doing is either a mental health day off or just a feel-good moment, it starts affecting your day-to-day. By this I mean, you find yourself, you haven't showered in like 3 days. The dishes for 2 days ago, they're still there on the sink. You haven't even changed. It's one thing you've not showered, but it's another thing, the same clothes you were wearing, still. So if it's and then another thing is also, if you realize you're starting to make excuses for not, either I have an email I need to send, but I just so you find this thing that started off as a form of you letting loose, and everything, it's now affecting your everyday life, then that becomes a problem. So that should be one of your biggest warning signs or red flags, that, oh my God, I'm starting to easily slip into a point whereby it will be very hard for me to turn back. And this is now the point whereby you start formulating those depressive symptoms. Again, DSM says, the Diagnostic Manual for Mental Health states,
it's
DSM. So tuko 5 sai, tulianza 1 sai tuko 5. Hiyo inakuonyesha venye kuna mental health issues mob sana zinashinda zikireviewiwa. So it states the criteria for you to diagnose depression is this person needs to have gone through that depressive state for 2 weeks and above. But unapata mse amefeel tu hivyo siku moja ama mbili, and all of a sudden ashaanza kusema venye ako depressed and everything. But have you experienced that for 2 weeks and above? No, you'll find Wednesday you are fine, Friday tu ndo ukisikia chini. You get? So I feel like, again, we also need to learn how to stop abusing these terms, because now it also becomes hard for someone to really know how exactly you feel. And again, let's avoid couch surfing sana. Take a walk, a 30 minutes walk, do something around the house, clean up once in a while, and whatnot.
You've actually read my mind, because I was going to ask, what are some of the things to look out for when we, so that we can catch ourselves slipping into, those what you call side effects, or side effects of loneliness. And you've said, when you see that thing that you're doing is affecting your day-to-day operations, that's one way to catch yourself. And I would also want to shed some light on, there's some things you mentioned while we are talking about these characters, right, which are how they reacted to their feeling of loneliness, right? You've mentioned Red Guardian was couch surfing, right? And there are also other mechanisms. I'd like to call them coping mechanisms. You see, like, the US agent is always on his phone. There's this flashback scene where, he's neglecting his baby. The baby is crying. The wife is like, take care of the child. And he's like, I'm watching him. But he's really actually just...
he's fixated.
Yeah, he's lost on his phone. Yelena has gone into drugs. Bob, the same, right? So are these... and these are the coping mechanisms, right? These I'm trying to make a link between, you had said something about falling into depressive episodes. So what are the side effects? What are the things to be aware of, and how do we separate them? The yes, I'm lonely, and then the side effect is being is the side effect depression and isolation and going into drugs, or
So
how do we call all this? How do we define them? Which is which?
I like the fact that you're using the term side effects, but I feel like you're defining more of signs and symptoms in terms of what do I need to look out for. Is that what you mean when you say side effect?
Yes, like I'm lonely, right? I've going through an episode of feeling lonely, and then now, to stop feeling lonely, what am I doing as a result of that?
Okay, so more of coping mechanisms.
Yes.
So you need to understand there's healthy coping mechanisms and there's unhealthy coping mechanisms. In short, there's positive coping mechanisms and there's negative coping mechanisms. So let's use some of the characters in the show. Let's just use the one that was couch surfing, right? They started doing that as a coping mechanism to maybe feeling depressed. So they were like, let me catch a series or a movie, and one series turned into them not showering, not cleaning, and everything. So you realize something that started off as a way to cope with this thing ended up piling up or bringing forth another issue. kind of the same way that someone says, let me go take a shot to cope with my depression and whatnot, and then one shot turns into a whole bottle. So you're trying to cope with one thing, and now you've added addiction to the mix. So that's how you get to know whatever coping mechanism I'm using is not working for me. It's negative. And again, this also comes from a point of self-awareness. You know, how do you understand when you're sleeping too far from, you know, the light and everything? And then now healthy coping mechanism is whereby it's helping you cope with this without any now side effects, any negative side effects to it, in a way that it's actually even building you better or more. Let's say, for instance, someone used gym as a form of coping with loneliness. Nitoke tu.
Did my trainer send you?
Na tunajua ujienda gym. Umekuwa ukisema toka January.
She's joking.
So you find that one, you're working towards a healthy lifestyle. You find through gymming, you'll start even eating healthy and everything. So you find this coping mechanism has a lot of positives as opposed to negatives. You get? So that's how you differentiate what works for you. So when you're looking into, because I know the next question you'll ask me is, what are some of the healthy coping mechanisms? See, I can read your mind.
So guys, when you go to school, just be a psychologist and so then you'll get mind reading powers.
Oh my god, that's a lie though. to tell you misconception hapo.
Okay.
See telepaths. But I know that's what the next question would be.
Yes.
So some of the healthy coping mechanisms that you can use to help you when it comes to depression and loneliness, one is self-care. Self-care ni muhimu sana. Unfortunately, if you mention self-care, the first thing that comes to someone's mind is a trip to Maldives, a shopping spree. Self-care can be even a really nice nap, a really nice intentional nap. Self-care can be a really nice intentional deep breathing exercise. Self-care can be a really nice muscle relaxation exercise. You know, such small things. Self-care can be just taking extra 10 minutes in the shower just to feel utokapo hivyo kisikia too fiti. You get? Self-care can be doing dishes, cleaning up your house and whatnot. So I feel like people need to prioritize more on self-care. Self-care can also be, I feel like I've had too much this week. I just need a day off. No calls, no nothing. Please, until Monday or something. You get? Another thing that also works a lot is setting goals. I believe goals give you a sense of direction. Goals give you a sense of purpose. So with goals also comes a routine. So when you know, I'm waking up in the morning to do XYZ, to work on this and that, to do this and that, your mind is so preoccupied with a lot of things that you don't have time to feel sorry for yourself, because you know you're working towards this amazing goal. Musema utamwa goals ni kuachieve hizo goals. So you know at the end of 2 weeks, at the end of 1 month, at the end of this time, I'll have achieved XYZ. So that gives you that motivation to keep pushing. And at the same time, understand the difference between that and burnout. It's a point whereby you've picked up so many things to do, and all of a sudden we're now starting to deal with another issue. That, you know, this was supposed to be an outlet, but sasa imeingisha kitu ingine.
And it seems, from your speech, it seems burnout is another topic on its own.
It is another topic on its own, but because most of the time ukiongelea burnout wasi wengi ufikiria job tu. Kazi ya job ndio inakupatia stress. But did you know burnout is, how I explain it best is, tuseme CAMPES wewe. Uko job hapa. Utoke hapa. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. My AI is speaking.
What I found on the internet.
Oh my god.
Ulisema utaki kuongea na Bei, ndio hiyo amekuwa.
Oh my god. Alafu
amekutumia siri.
I'm telling you. Alafu sikia siri akiniambia, "Oh my god, if you're depressed, please these are the number." That's what it does. So, let's say for you CAMPES. You're working here, right? Ini job yako. At the same time, you have a day job. At the same time, umeenda ukakuwa committee member church. at the same time unataka kupatana na maboys for soccer.
Yeah.
At the same time unataka kupatana na bay. So you realize one person, you're juggling a lot of things. Then when it comes to maybe your day work, ikikuwa too overwhelming and everything, you start presenting those symptoms of burnout.
Yeah.
But you won't notice these are the roles that you've had to play. You'll think need your job too. So what burnout does is you realize you're biting too much than you can chew.
Yeah.
You're here, you're there, you're blah blah blah. So it means take a time back, see what you can handle, only deal with what you can handle.
Yeah. And that's where having a routine comes into play.
Yes.
You know, as also one of the healthy coping mechanisms that we are talking about. Okay, fantastic. And so you know, just when Siri was trying to expose you, I've remembered it's something that's actually happening right now, especially with the rise of AI, ChatGPT, DeepSpeak, and all these other tools. I would love to hear your take. You know, people are saying AI is taking our jobs,
replacing therapists,
and we find everyone right now, you know, gambana tu na mtu wako kidogo.
AI.
I'm feeling lonely. Am I lonely? Am I depressed? What are the symptoms? You know, what should I do? So yes, we have mechanisms. You know, you've advised on some of the healthy coping mechanisms we can action. And so what happens when you need advice, right? Most people right now are turning to AI. What's your take on that? Do you think that's something safe, or do you believe in the old school way of talking to someone? Because, you know, AI also, you know, just derives from, you know, therapists do content, they do blogs, you know, and AI just scrapes the internet. Do you think AI, you know, is you know, can be a substitute for these conversations in properly guiding someone in whatever they're feeling, or you believe in the old school way?
Look at me looking at my phone. Isianze kuninini, kunichomea accounts and whatnot. For me, I'll say it's a sword that cuts both ways. AI is amazing. I feel like we live in an era whereby you can access a lot of things by just clicking something in your phone and you already have it. You know, when it comes to writing letters, when it comes to writing proposals, if you use it the right way, it gives a lot of access.
Yeah.
So here's the only difference that I have. When it comes to therapy, there's a certain skill that psychologists and psychiatrists and clinical counselors and all those have that AI doesn't have, which is rapport.
Yeah.
Creating rapport with the client. There's that human touch to therapy that makes everything make sense. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, I can easily go to my AI and ask this and that. And he tells me whatever he tells me. And then I go to my therapist and we have a whole conversation around this. There's some sort of rapport that me and my therapist have that me and my AI can never have. I don't know if you get that.
Yeah.
There's that, I feel like aside from rapport, I want to call it a human touch to things. So I'm not saying AI is bad. It's amazing. For me, I love AI. It takes my minutes kwa meetings, official meetings, not sessions. And I love it because most of the time ingeshinda nikiandika so and so attended the meeting, but AI just does that. So it's amazing, but there's a certain extent to it that it can't happen. And another thing with AI is it doesn't diagnose, and it also tells you, you know, it will give you a series of conditions, probable, you know, issues that you might have, and it can't tell you this is exactly what is happening until you go to now maybe a psychiatrist and they tell you this is what is happening. You get, so it is nice, but I feel like people need to know how to juggle it or how to work around it. Another thing is, this is what happens with human beings.
Yeah.
Allow me to digress kidogo. When it comes to psychology, there are certain conditions we call comorbid conditions. So comorbid condition, I'll give an example with the best example with depression. So okay. So you find depression can be a condition on its own, or can be a symptom to something else. So let's say, for instance,
comorbid condition.
Yes, so it means just inaweza kuwa mbili, in the sense that hii inaweza kuwa a symptom to something else, or inaweza kuwa a condition on its own.
Yeah.
So let's say, for instance, I'm having these symptoms of depression, and then I go tell my AI I feel depressed, blah blah blah. You see, it won't try and rule out if this is a symptom to something else. It will pick that exactly. But for me, as a therapist, I'm also trained to read your non-verbal cues. I'm trained to listen beyond what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So you might come to me and tell me, I've been feeling this way and this way. And I will ask you a series of questions. Some that you'll be asking, where did that even come from? But I'm also picking from your non-verbal cues.
Yeah.
You know, I'm picking from
your body language.
Not even just body language. When you type, it lacks tonation.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
When you're speaking with a certain tonation.
Yeah.
I can listen to that and know there's more to whatever it is that you're telling me than just saying it. But if I'm texting, it's hard for me to know if, and that's why you find I do virtual sessions, yes, but when it comes to those first sessions, I always emphasize physical sessions, in-person sessions, because I get to pick out on a lot that I might have missed out on if it was maybe virtual or something else. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So AI is good, yes, but
it's better. It doesn't. It misses out on the human element.
AI is 30% amazing, but 70% lacks that rapport, that human touch, that
that you'd actually need in this situation.
Yes, in this situation.
Awesome.
So for going back to the comorbid situation and everything, so you might realize it might diagnose you with depression and kumbe ilikuwa symptom ya kitu ingine. So if I'm just treating depression and it's some symptom to something else, then a month from now, 2 months from now, you'll still be presenting the same symptoms, yet you had gotten some sort of treatment plan from your AI.
Yeah.
Kumbe it's because we didn't deal with the underlying issue or the OG, situation and everything. Yes.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It actually, I hope for everyone listening, yes, AI is good, but at the base of everything, just talk to someone. In the movie, Bob was literally pulled out of the void by the team, right?
Okay.
So it takes and
a village.
It takes a village. And I was thinking of it this way, like the main villain of the Thunderbolts movie, which is the Void, was defeated by a hug, because they literally hugged him, and
Hugs.
then hugs. I see what you did there. Yeah. And right after she talked about AI and saying that therapists are still relevant, which they are, thank you so much, and she's just gonna drop her rate because that was her plugging herself. I see what you did there too.
Which camera? Naangalia camera gani?
So just to summarize everything, I'd like to put it into a flowchart, a quick flowchart to see if we are all on the same page. So we have what we'd like to call the inciting incident, like we call in movies. This could be things like upbringing, where we see through Yelena and Bob, and then that leads into the feeling of loneliness, right? So the inciting incidents could be a number of things. Could be upbringing, could be being with the wrong group, could be like even for guys like John Walker, it's the divorce, right? Comparison, right? And then now we move into the feeling of loneliness, right? That's like our stage 2. Within loneliness, now it's you actually actively feeling like you're alone, and that drives us into now what you've called like a morbid condition, that is depression, right? And from that we move now to the reaction of that, which is now the coping mechanisms, right? Which could be like couch surfing, and now the drugs, and the partying, the constant working, like in the case of John Walker, always going on missions, right? And so where we can catch ourselves is on that last stage, right? When you see your coping mechanisms are actually affecting your day-to-day activities, where they are becoming more of your personality rather than just a deviation from your routine. And so when you see, that's the last stage, the action stage, when you see it's affecting your operations, that's when you catch yourself and say, hey, I need to divert and do something more positive. Take a mental health day. If you're couch surfing, take a walk. And if it's also overbearing, seek a shoulder to cry on. That could be a friend, Bob was pulled from the void. And it could be also a certified professional like yourself. Yeah, if you're too shy, you can start with the 30% chat GPT. Do you agree with that, or am I pushing it?
You can. It depends with what you're searching.
Okay.
What you're searching
so
for.
Mostly just look for someone, right? Okay, that's good to know.
There's something I also want to mention, Kidogo.
Yes.
I'm all for reaching out to friends, but then again, you also need to understand the world we live in. There's a lot of superficial connections, whereby you'll find someone has like 1 million, followers. I can get live on like 20k followers and everything.
Yeah.
But it's superficial because ukishatoka online, they're no longer around you. There's no any meaningful connections beyond that and everything. So when I'm looking into friendships, one, I normally it's a debate. It's more of a debate because personally I normally say, in every relationship, in every interaction you have with someone, there's always something that person is getting.
Yeah.
It's an exchange type of thing. It's a give and take type of thing. So what is it you're getting out of this friendship? What is it you're getting out of this interaction and everything? Because at times unaweza kuwa nao wase wenye wanaita mabeshi na wao ndio wanafanya unasikia uko depressed, and the minute unatoka hiyo mbogi yao una realize, oh my god, I'm actually a very happy person. I'm not as depressed as I thought I am. So as much as I encourage opening up to people, having these conversations and everything, first of all, do a reke on your, on your group of friends and everything. Figure out
audit of the people around you.
Figure out, should I, because again, akuna jani kujeni. That's why you find some people find it very easy to open up to bartenders, watchmen, and everything, because they know I'll never see this person again. But now imagine I'm sharing with you my deepest, whatever is bothering me, and then women can announce. You get, so always figure out the kind of friends you have and the purpose they serve in that friend group. There's that friend that you just want around for turn up. There's that friend, if I want someone to vent to, they're there. If I want someone to call me out on my BS, wait, can I say that on radio?
Feel free.
Okay, so if I want someone to call me out, then so and so will do that. You get, so always do that. And then there are those, not everyone is your friend, Pia. I feel it's weird that I have to say this, but I have to say this. Your work colleagues are not your friend, because you realize you only interact at work. Outside work, you don't talk. They don't even know where you live and everything.
Yeah.
So know who you consider friend, know who is a colleague, know who is just an acquaintance and everything. Because I feel like in my field of work, I've realized that is what also brings about a lot of issues. Because unapata msee aliweka a lot of expectations on a friend group and everything.
Yeah.
Only for her to realize they didn't even consider them as their friend, let alone, a best friend.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's very, and also understand your expectations, because again, I personally say expectations are the mother of disappointment.
Yeah.
Especially unspoken expectations. I might expect you to behave a certain way as my friend.
Yeah.
Na sija communicate. So if you don't behave that way, I'll end up disappointed. And what does disappointment lead to?
Yeah.
Of course, I'll start feeling some type of way. I'm not good enough. I'm not this and that. Inakuwa issues zingine. So I feel like, first of all, do a small audit, figure out who's who and everything
before now opening up to them.
Before even
so you've caught yourself, do an audit of your people, then now you can know who to open
or
up to.
even also an audit of your expectations.
An audit of
is this things that they can meet? If yes, well and good.
Okay.
If it's something they can't meet, well and good.
Fantastic.
You know.
All right, that was very insightful.
Big sister type of thing.
Big sister type of thing. Flexing your profession, your skills. Kidogo talk to a rate card. But that's good. Angalia hii camera. Tell us where we can find you. Tell us what are your upcoming projects and what to look forward to next from NASSIM NKATHA.
Should I mention all the projects or the most important ones?
The most important one because of time.
Okay, fine. So you can find us on almost all socials. Hugs.co.ke. That is the official page for Hugs. On Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that. My personal page is NASSIM NKATHA, just my name. You can find us also on our website, www.hugs.co.ke. You can get to see the projects that we're working on. We do a lot of community work, like cleanups. We have a cleanup coming up next month.
Yes.
We have Chill Spot that is also coming up. Chill Spot is a nice, fun, engaging mental health for the youths. We have a lot of gaming. We watch movies. We have panel discussions. We have dance therapy. Like, it's just a fun activity. Other than that, we also have a children's home visit, a rescue home visit that is gonna happen next month. So if you have sanitary towels, if you have Pampers, you'd wish to donate and everything, please feel free to reach us.
Fantastic.
Yes.
That was NASSIM NKATHA, ladies and gentlemen, CEO and founder of Hugs, our very main and important guest for our show today. Thank you for shedding a lot of light. I've learned a lot today, and I hope you listening to us have also learned a lot. So that was NASSIM NKATHA. Thank you, and hope to see you here soon. And we will now go into our music break. I know you love the music here at Icon Radio at Certified Cinema, and leading us into our break is Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar.
I am reincarnated. I was stargazing. Life goes on. I need her, my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. High key, keep a horn on me. That could my seat. IP ownership. The blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off. I get off at my feet.
What's the password?
I see dead people.
You late.
Aye, monster on the beat, ho, Debo, any rap nigga, he a free throw, man down, call like Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro, nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walking down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pole on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs. And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baka got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That fuck him up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch, ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. They not like us. 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 You think the Bay gon' let you disrespect Pop, nigga? I think that Oakland show gon' be your last stop, nigga. They cold foul, I don't know why you still pretending. What is the owl? Bird niggas and bird bitches, go. The audience not dumb, shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Rabbit hole is still deep, I can go further, I promise. Ain't that something? P-Rest stands for bitchin'. You Malibu most wanted, ain't no law boy, you ball boy. Fresh Gatorade or something. Since 2009, I had this bitch jumping. You niggas will get a wedgie, be flipped over your boxes, or over your foe. The other vaginal option, pussy, nigga better straighten they posture. Got favorites all up in contact, might write this with a doctor. Tell a pop star quit hiding, fuck a caption, won't action. No accident, I'm hands on, he fuck around, get polished. Fucked on Wayne Grow, he was in jail, that's conniving. Then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing. I'm glad D-Rose came home, y'all didn't deserve him neither. From Alondra down to Central, nigga better not speak on Serena. And your homeboy needs subpoena, that predator moving flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. I lean on you niggas like another line of walk. Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot. Ay, put the roll label on me, I'ma get them dropped. Ay, sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Ay, how many stocks do I really have in stock? Ay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Ay, devil is a lie, here 69 God. Ay, freaky ass niggas need to stay their ass inside. Ay, roll their ass up like a fresh pack of Zod. Ay, city is back up, it's a must, we outside. Ay. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still double down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the mecca, building railroads and trains. Bear with me for a second, let me put y'all on game. The settlers was using town folk to make them richer. Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you, this the real nigga challenge. You caught Future when you didn't see the club. Hey, what? Lil' baby help you get your lingo up. What? 21 get your false street cred. Thug make you feel like you a slime in your head. Hey, what? Quavo said you can be from Northside. What? 2 Chainz say you good, but he lied. You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter. Here was God's plan to show y'all the liar. He a fan, he a fan, he a fan. He a fan, he a fan, he a freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Let me hear you say OV ho. Say OV ho. Then step this way, step that way. Then step this way, step that way. Are you my friend? Are we locked in? Then step this way, step that way. Then step this way, step that way.
の灯ったみんな英語と欲と未練が聞かう雨にぼやけた視界ネオンがなぜる濡れた輪郭何時もにまだ覚めないで時が引き裂くいやいやいやいや 呆れた顔ってくんない追いつけたと思えばミラージュあの日のままって触れたい特に脱ぎ捨ててた品格あっという間に起こる間違いへ夜は短くガス切れのライターが照らすいきさつちょっと待ってや俺に家庭があって生活があってやなほっとかんてや俺が嘘つく前に特にまたがったらラテラリラだ今日も花歌待ってで開いた鍵やなほんと勝手やな確か20年前もこんな始まり方選べなかったしないひねとかひな暗闇かどっちかもっと書いてもっと立って欲張って笑うお前の計画通り溶けていく明日をどうでもいいやこの通りもう止まんねや呆れた顔ってくんない追いつけたと思えばミラージュあの日のままって触れたい特に脱ぎ捨ててた品格あっという間に起こる間違いへ夜は短くガス切れのライターが照らすいきさつ血が昇ったら始まっちゃう玉食いしてるチュパカブラブラブラ日が昇ったらハになっちゃう棺桶に足してるドキュラララ血が昇ったら始まっちゃう玉食いしてるチュパカブラブラブラ日が昇ったらハになっちゃう棺桶に足してたとえお前がまだ途中でもその手を振りほどいて待たないやもう会わないさよなら最後にこいつをかき上げたらそしてまたお前の中ペンポ突き立てるやわはら戻るたら平凡なパパ隠す首筋の歯型元気呆れた顔ってくんない追いつけたと思えばミラージュあの日のままって触れたい特に脱ぎ捨ててた品格あっという間に起こる間違いへ夜は短くガス切れのライターが照らすいきさつ
Is it the fucks that I don't give? Is it the man that I don't miss? Is the song why we get along? Or am I coming on a little strong? Is it the way this dress unzips? Is it the girls that I came with? Cause the more that they tell me don't, is the more that it turn me on. I can't leave, I can't leave. Leave you alone with your eyes on me, no. I can't leave, I can't leave. Dancing alone don't look right on me, yeah. I can't leave, I can't leave. Leave you alone with your eyes on me, no. I can't leave, I can't leave. Dancing alone don't look right on me.
my neck, nigga, and ice my bitch. Beat the system with chains and whips.
This is culturally inappropriate.
You run from the spirit of repossession. Too much enamel covers your necklace. I buy bitches, you buy them sections. You buy watches, I buy collections. Misery's fueling your aggression. Jealousy's turned into obsession. Reality TV is mud wrestling. Some sign checks I know better than. Beware of my name that there's delicate. You know I know where you're delicate. Crush you to pieces, I hum a breath of it. I will close your heaven for the hell of it. You think it'd be valor amongst veterans. I'm watching your fame escape relevance. We all in a room, but here's the elephant. You chasing a feature out of your element. And those lab diamonds under inspection. The question marks block your blessings. It's no tombstones in the desert. I know by now you get the message. Uncle said, nigga, you must be sick. All you talk about is just get rich. Choke my neck, nigga, and ice my bitch. Beat the system with chains and whips.
It don't take much to put two and two. Your lucky streak is now losing you. Money's dried up like a cuticle. You're gasping for air now, it's beautiful. John 10:10, that's my usual. Mamas is falling out in funerals. And bomb and blow, they now viewing you. They never find the guns, but the sewers do. Bubbles was sick, he need medicine. Brought him back to life, now we're dead again. Richard don't make watches for presidents. Just a million trapped between skeletons. This the darkest that I ever been. The diamonds make you taste peppermint. You ain't thriving in the snow like it's the Revenant. And send orders back down to keep shoveling.
Uncle said, nigga, you must be sick. All you talk about is just get rich. Choke my neck, nigga, and ice my bitch. Beat the system with chains and whips.
You know, we get calling, you look side to side like what did they say? And they hear the Lord's voice, and then you realize that the devil is talking to you.
I'm not the candidate to vibe with. I don't fuck with the kumbaya shit. All that talent must be God sent. I send your ass back to the cosmics. The things I seen under my eyelids. Kaleidoscope dreams, murder and sirens. Let's be clear, hip-hop died again. Half of my profits may go to Rakim. How many Judases that let me down? But fuck it, the West Minds, we right now. Therapy showed me how to open up. It also showed me I don't give a fuck. The two-time Gemini with the genocide. I'm generous, however you want it. I'll be the gentle kind. Gentlemen and gangsters connect. The agenda of mine. Move niggas up out of here. This shit get gentrified. Heavy jeans like Genevieve's. I drop your Pentagon and show up at your gender reveal. And tell them, give me mine. I son niggas, I am the general. Wear my gin and juice. Every song in the book of Genesis. Let the sonics boom. Niggas want the tea on me. Well, here's the ginger root. I generate residuals, bitch. Get off my genitals. They say I couldn't reach Gen Z. You fucking dickheads. You must be full of that ginseng. Here comes the jinx, yeah. They genetics been synthetic, screaming they genius. A finger wave, they all fall. Niggas is Jenga. God gave me light. A good year full of free will. Trunk card, tell me not to spare your life. Motherfucker.
You know, we get calling, you look side to side like what did they say? And they hear the Lord's voice, and then you realize that the devil is talking to you.
Hi, this is Eric Wanaina. Keep it locked here on Icon Radio, your #1 entertainment plug.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from that fantastic music break. We just had Mirage by Creepy Nuts. That's the opening song to the new season of Call of the Night. That's a banger right there. That mix of Afrobeats and you know that Japanese pop. I call it Afro-Jap. I love Afro-Jap, man. They should keep on doing that more and more. You know, Creepy Nuts coming off. This is 4 out of 4. Solid. We had Is It by Tyler, you know, the South African princess representing Africa all over the world. She's doing good right now. And we had Chains and Whips by Clips featuring Kendrick Lamar, straight off their new album, Let God Sort Them Out. And I'm loving this track. I really love this track, especially it works well for this show because, you know, it sounds so cinematic. It sounds like something you could hear on the soundtrack of Django Unchained, you know. Yeah, those guys who do TikTok movie edits, please try do one of Django Unchained over Chains and Whips, and it's right there in the title, Chains and Whips. You know, how more on the nose can it get? And yes, I really love this track. So if you haven't heard the album, make sure you go listen to it. Tell me what you think. Did you love it? Did you hate it? I personally think it was fantastic. And now we come to our second half of the show, where we get into our first review of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dan Da Dan Season 2. Yeah. So what did I think about it? Yeah, Dan Da Dan Season 2. We are 2 episodes in. Episode 2 dropped just last week. We're expecting episode 3 this week. And it might seem a bit odd that we are talking about it at this stage. It might seem too early of review because it just started. But I'm looking at it more of like what it says about what to expect, and how does this season look like so far. And I think Dan Da Dan Season 2 has started pretty Dan Da Dan, if I may say so. I expected that Season 2 would be coming in very fresh, like we would be getting a new story arc. It ended with some suspense, not a lot of suspense, some suspense. Especially them moving to a new town where moving to Gigi's hometown. I expected we would get some new story arcs or a new an escalation of sorts, right? But it seemed like we still went back to the it felt like this was something that could have been stitched into season 1 and we would have still been okay, right? It feels like season 1 part 2, not like season 2, because it's still drawing from the formula of season 1 and how things play out. That is where we get the first episode that establishes the conflict and puts Okarun and puts our characters in some sort of conflict, boxes them into a corner, and then season 2 someone unlocks a new power, and then now we kick things off and we start kicking butt, and then now they get closer and we get into a new story arc or a new conflict, right? It still feels it's the same thing, and how it's going so far, I think if that's what we are going to expect, then they have to be pulling out a hell of a lot of characters, just to keep it fresh. Otherwise, if they keep this going up to the entirety of season 2, it will get really formulaic. And I love that Dan Da Dan is very fun. It's the humor is still there. I love the humor there, and I also love how the characters are always relating to each other, which I feel we haven't gotten really so deep into that with how this season has started. We've been I think now it's become second nature to see how Okarun is working together, with Turbo Granny, and how that trio has become so solidified. That's fantastic. I like that. It's second nature to us now, and how they're so very established to their powers. They're no longer struggling, and Okarun can activate it whenever he wants, and he always jumps in to save the situation. I really like that, right? So we need to explore more. I feel like so far we need to explore more of that relationship, and if they keep the formula going, it might get a bit boring, right? That's how I foresee things. All in all, it was still fantastic. And can we talk about Gigi? I mean, Gigi's powers have been finally unlocked. Like, damn, he looked like very, how, have you seen these TikToks about people talking about the K-pop artists making content to seem kind of dumb and cute? Yeah, Gigi came off as the dumb and cute K-pop boy band guy, and I love that we are now getting deeper into him and seeing there's more to his character, and that he's actually a nice person. He actually really cares about people. He's happy-go-lucky attitude is really in his character. You know, deciding to spoilers, this deciding to go back and engage with the spirit that was seemingly holding them hostage, because he could relate to its origin story. That, you know, there's a theme there where, you know, villains are made, not born, you know, because none of these spirits just woke up and decided just going to do evil, unless, yeah, they actually are inherently evil. So he actually connects with this spirit, and that's what unlocks, he, you know, makes him a medium, and, you know, gives him his sort of powers. And I think he's very interesting to see, you know, how he's playing into this soccer gimmick and using it against that giant serpent. And I believe, yeah, we have something to work with here, right? So I just wish that you know, we up the stakes somewhere in season 2. We could up the stakes and get more of an, you know, a deep arc into who these characters are, and maybe a new story. You know, it could be my comfort speaking, because, you know, we are always used to anime seasons leading up to a big bad, and we're not getting that with Dandadan. So if they still keep it personal, and we're getting new characters with personal stories, and, you know, we're getting into their relationships, you know, the romance bit was a huge part for season 1. You know, it was very subtle, you know, and kind of like friendly and cute, like they love each other, they have crushes on each other, but they don't want to be very upfront with it. It was something, you know, it was unfolding very cutely, and they get angry at each other at some point, but they always come back to be together. That was fantastic, and I'm hoping we can get more of that humor. As it seems now, very Dandadan season 1. Yeah, let's hope the fire keeps going, right? And so if you've read the manga, feel free to comment, feel free to jump into our DMs and let us know what we may be missing or what to expect. But please, no spoilers. Please don't be that guy. Don't revenge. I know I've given out spoilers, but it's less of a spoiler and more of a warning to go and see Dandadan season 2. And we go to our second review of the day. Yeah, and this is something very personal to me, because I am a DC fan, and our big blue Boy Scout, our mascot, aka Superman, is now on the big screen. Yes. I had told you guys last week's Read the Room to make sure you hit the theaters to see Superman, and I'm here to tell you how it went down. I will try my best, because, you know, we are still in the original week of its cinema run, so I will spare you this time. This will be a spoiler-free review. And right out of the gate, DC fans, I'm looking at you. DC fans, are you looking at me? Listen, we up now. We are up now. We are up. To me win, guys. To me win. Yeah, I was really worried about how this is going to turn out, because James Gunn has been heavily affiliated with the Marvel brand prior to him taking over the helm of, you know, DC Studios, and now coming in to bring in his DCU. And, you know, we've been used to this dark and gritty DC, and so we were like, is he going to bring in that James Gunn humor, that James Gunn brightness into our very dark and gritty world that we're used to all the way from Christian Bale's Dark Knight? The answer is yes. You should expect that, and you saw that from the trailers. The answer is yes. James Gunn, Superman is a very James Gunn movie. And the advantage of that is that it is a very comic book movie, right? Not comic book movie in the sense that it is full of comic book characters, but in the sense that it feels how it feels. It gives you that feeling that you would get as if when you are reading a Superman comic book, all the way from, it's in from the surface level looks, how the costumes are, they are very clean, not like Zack Snyder's more textured, feeling like something you would actually see someone putting on. This actually feels very comic-y and sort of very clean, and I would say kind of goofy-ish. I personally thought the costumes were okay. I liked the DCEU costumes much better because they had they were they were very comic accurate, right? But I feel like James Gunn really wanted it to feel like how it looked, that clean look from the page, without the textures. And we now have the trunks are back outside. Yeah, he's now wearing the red pants across his tights now. Yeah, and he loses that, trying to make it real, like, it just feels very plastered. So most of the costumes are that way. And because when you look at it in the comics, there isn't really much detail. It's a very bright world, and something that also makes it feel very comic booky is the characters and how they speak, right? You see how in most movies, most comic book movies, they would try to make someone speak like a real person, right? Like if someone was to convince you to do something, they would, have to take you through the journey. And we see that through, villains like, say, Killmonger. He had a tragic upbringing, and that's what made him real and relatable, right? That's what made him do what he does. He had a tragic upbringing, and he decided, gonna take my revenge against Wakanda and bring power to the black people, right? With James Gunn's comic book, characters are very, like in the comic books, a villain is just a villain. They step into the scene, and the minute you see them, they're already revealing their plans in the most animated and outlandish way possible. We have the hammer of Borave is literally floating in the sky, just shooting lasers at buildings and saying, "I want Superman." It feels very comic bookish. There isn't a backstory, like this was an injustice done to him, and that's why he's mad at Superman, and he wants, he's just like, I'm here to kick Superman's ass. That's what I'm here to do, right? So everything felt very comic bookish, and it was strange because it's something new. And this also brings me now to the second point of how the movie was overall. And I feel like the first half was very, very confusing, right? Because, this is the first movie of the DCU. We are using Superman as a mascot to launching the new DC universe, the new slate of movies. But we just drop kicked into an already established world. We don't get an origin story. We literally start in the middle of a fight, and that's when the Hammer of Moravi is like, "I want Superman," and Superman gets into the fight, and then now we see, oh, there's actually a war happening, and then we get introduced to the most haterist of haters, the hater himself, also put in a very comic book performance, Lex Luthor. I loved Nicholas Holt as Lex Luthor. He was so fantastic, and this guy is doing it for the love of the game. He doesn't have a tragic backstory. He hates Superman. He just woke up and was like, Sipendi Superman. I don't like Superman. Sipendi Superman. Sipendi yo kijana, and we are going to we're going to eliminate him. And that's his whole thing for the movie. Just making sure he's destroying things, flipping things upside down to make sure Superman's image is tarnished, and he finds an excuse to actually eliminate the guy, and he says that. And that's the entire plot of the story. Superman being put into this international conflict just so we can, raise questions about unchecked power. But unlike Zack Snyder's Superman, who tries to, stick into that whole theme. um James Gunn's Superman makes it more personal, right? We stick with Superman and how he's feeling about this whole thing, and how this, and he's trying to do good despite being put into this situation. And as you're moving out through the movie, this is something that the movie kind of assumes you should know before watching the movie. That's why the first half is very confusing, because if you come into this movie without prior knowledge of Superman's character, without prior knowledge of his villains and Lex Luthor and his love interests, which is Lois Lane, and the other side characters like uh, Jimmy Olsen and Perry and all these other Daily Planet guys, you get really lost, because this is a deep exploration of who Superman is as a character, him doing good despite despite all the evil going around him, despite him being framed as a bad person. So if you're coming into this expecting to know the origin story and getting to know why he does his good, you're in for a shocker, because we're dropped into 3 years of Superman's journey, right? He's literally 3 years in his journey, and so all these people look so confusing. I had the advantage of reading comics, so I kind of know that this is Superman's character. I don't need an explanation of why he does who he is. I already know why he does what he does, because he's Superman. I have that knowledge. But for the casual viewer, it will be very confusing. And even for me, it was confusing because I wanted to know why this iteration is, why we chose this direction of getting very personal. But the second half unfolds, once everything has come into play, then now it becomes very, very, very entertaining, right? We've now made peace with the fact that, okay, he's 3 years into his journey. We might not be getting that origin story. It's a Superman adventure now, right? He's already been locked up. He's getting his ass kicked left, right, and center. That allows us to, kind of get to know him a little bit better. And from there, once you've made peace with that in the second half, the conflict now fully unfolds. And that's where I say we win, because now from there, it's a fantastic piece of art, man. It really gives Superman adventures, like this movie is very self-contained. It's not about, it's not convoluted with the whole pressure of trying to set up the new DCU and the big bad. It's about Superman, and that's what we get. And so it's now him getting into this situation that we've seen, and him trying to prove that he will do good no matter what, right? And one of the things that really made it stand out was, now we've been introduced to all these villains, and Superman has to come in and save the day. And he does that, in a very, again, very comic book way, which is he kicks ass. Bro, whoo, we get some major fight scenes, very entertaining in this movie. Like, I see now why we got a Superman that was 3 years into his Superman journey, and the payoff is fantastic, right? Because from the second half, it's more of now him standing up and saving the day. And then now at the end, now we get that speech like, I do what I do because I was raised as a human, and it encapsulates who he is as a character, and now makes all this in the second half make sense. It's not to say that the only good thing about the movie is the fight scenes. Yeah, the first half is confusing, but it's still entertaining. We there's this humor. The humor is okay. It's very James Gunn humor. It's sometimes, my problem with the humor is it was misplaced. Yeah, the scenes were funny, but I feel like there could have been a better time to do that, right? In the sense that we could be in those really really emotional scenes both in the first half and in the second half, and that could be undercut by um, trying to be funny. Yes, it was a funny moment. You could see how humorous it is, but the timing could have been better. But it was still a very, it's not without its emotional bits, especially Lois and Clark, exploring that relationship, you know um trying to see how they can make this work with Superman having all this superhero thing going on, um, and also Superman's relationship with Crypto, and then him trying to do the best that he can despite being framed, and that's when we get the interview with Lois Lane, and that's when you get the war and his people calling to Superman, Superman. It was really really emotional, and Superman doing his best and now coming in and saving the day and kicking ass. And yeah, I just want to focus on that a little bit because it was very very nice. Unlike with other movies where we've gotten a Superman who Henry Cavill was nice. He had that physical presence, but his fight scenes were a bit here and there. We actually don't see a fight. He's more of flying and slamming people into walls and carrying them into out of space. But David Corenswet's Superman throws hands, guys. He's chaining combos and throwing punches. There's that actually being slammed into walls. But there's one particular scene where I see that this guy is actually aware of his powers, and he has the brains to know how to utilize them in the situation that he is. There's that trailer scene where he's holding up a monster's leg and has to blow away a dog. There's this scene where he's being attacked by nanobots, and he has to try to use the air friction to get them off his face. That was fantastic. And again, that was something you'd see in a Superman comic book. Like, Superman is not all just bronze, but he is bronze and brain. He's Superman. He has all these powers at his disposal. Why wouldn't he use them? And I love that we saw that, and so this all comes in so well in how he when it culminates into the third act, that last final fight, him kicking Ultraman's ass and fighting against the engineer and all these other guys. It really came together, and also the side characters really also came in through in the latter half. And shout out to Kenya's very own Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific. Ooh, man was aura farming the entire movie, right? I feel like he pops up when the movie needs him to pop up, and that's what made him very entertaining to see. He's the tech guy, but he's not always, it's not everything tech. He only comes in when this actually seems like a problem that needs Mr. Terrific, and he comes in and he does his thing, and we actually see, oh, these are his power levels, right? And he's very people are saying he's a scene stealer, and I agree with that. And I feel like he's the sane person of the Justice Gang, and we'd like to see more of him, right? And his team up with Superman, because he really comes in and makes it brings all this science stuff into makes it easier to understand. And so I really loved his portrayal in the movie, and I wish we could see more of him. And one thing that also made it very entertaining was the visual effects, right? Because the scenes of Superman flying, I know he was getting a lot of flack in the beginning from the trailers of how it looks misplaced and how it looks wrong, but damn, it was so fantastic. And especially when you see it on the big screen, it really makes you feel like you're also flying in with him, right? There are a lot of scenes of him flying through the sky and walking through portals, and it's been a while since I saw a movie with that amount of depth with 3D. Some 3D films, just um, some scenes are just okay. Maybe the action scenes are not so immersive. They're just 3D. You feel like you're spatially aware that it's a 3D movie, but it doesn't really draw you in. And they did a fantastic job at, it kind of rivals. Um, I'm gonna put it close to Avatar, along that same line, not close. If you're ranking good 3D movies, you have Avatar at the top, James Cameron's Avatar, and then now somewhere along that line, Superman is starting to come in, right? And especially seeing it in IMAX, when they say see it in IMAX, guys, this is actually, I believe that's the real deal. Seeing it in that big screen with that surround sound, um, really made it, very immersive. So the cinema experience was fantastic. The story was fantastic. The characters were fantastic. The fights were epic. They could have done a better job at making it easier for us to digest. And I think that's something that can be worked on and maybe can be resolved with the other DCU films. It leaves Superman with a lot of growth for potential, and that's what I think. Those are the great points with on Superman. What I didn't like is, yeah, like I said, the origin story has just been drop kicked into the series, and I also am finding trouble fully accepting this new Superman's character. Like, yes, he is very Superman-y, Superman-ish. He embodies all the principles and the characters of Superman. However, I would like to see some more leadership from him. He gives off the Superman that I grew up with, and the Superman I'm used to is, he gives cool dad kind of Superman. David Corenswet, I like that they added the comic book charm where he's a man of the people. He saves the day and then he comes down to the people. He's giving high fives. He's eating hot dogs from stands. He's carrying babies. I love that we are finally getting to see that side of Superman. But on the flip side is, I expected to see more of a cool dad Superman. He's with the people and he's also taking control of the situation. He comes to the scene with a lot of maturity, and he knows what he wants, and he's not so imposing. He's so gentle with it. What I got from David Corenswet's Superman was more of like cool bro. Like, yes, he is a man of the people. He's someone you can sit down with and talk about your latest crush, and have coffee with. But he kind of seems not to be aware of himself. He seems kind of unsure of himself, right? Where he cannot um, very accurately um, articulate his principles and why he does what he does, right? And that was perfectly shown, with the interview with Lois and that final speech with Lex, right? You know how your bro can be very cool, but he's still unsure, and whenever things are going right, he kind of snaps and has to raise his voice because I know what I'm doing. Like when your older bro tells you, unajua mi sirika yako. It David Corenswet Superman gives that, right, where he's struggling to stand up for his principles. He just expects you to know that I'm Superman and I do good because I'm Superman. And when that's called into question, he's very snappy. He lacks that calm, mature, gentle, loving kind of energy that we expect from Superman. And I would also say leadership. because I can't imagine this would be the Superman that would have to stand next to um, Batman in the Justice League, because they play so well along each other, where Superman is the leader, always, the leader by character, right? And you have to, when he speaks, you just have to listen. With David Cornsett's this new iteration of Superman, he feels very combative, like he can't calmly explain himself. I feel like that's what's lacking in the leadership. That's lacking in that, and I can't really see him as a leader. Especially in this, the first half of that, he's always being saved by Mr. Terrific and the Justice Gang and Crypto, up until the second half of the movie. So I'd really like to see some more leadership from him, but like I said again, we still have some a lineup of movies in the DCU where he can actually prove himself. There's potential for him to grow, and I'm really excited to see what the future of DCU is like. There are some fantastic cameos in there by characters I won't mention, because I said I'm trying to keep this very spoiler free. Y'all have until next week, because next week we are also having Fantastic Four, Super Fantastic. So I'm about to complete that, but keeping it all things Superman. All in all, go watch Superman. It was a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun time at the cinemas. A lot of positives to come out of this one. The rest I feel could be explained more once you get to know more about Superman. It's a Superman adventure that the whole family can watch. You as an adult, bring in your younger sisters, bring in your kids. Everyone can watch Superman, because this Superman is a Superman for the people. He has that comic book charm, and he really is trying to do good. And I've seen so many people, it's a joke. It seems like it's a joke going out, but I really feel like the message has been conveyed, and that's what Superman stands for. And the message is, be a man of virtue, be a person of virtue, do good, be integral, have integrity in with your principles, do good even when no one is watching, and even when no one expects you to, because that, ladies and gentlemen, is the essence of Superman. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to urge you once again, please go watch Superman. The best way to watch it and the best way to experience it is in cinema. Watch it on IMAX. If you there's only one IMAX screen in Kenya, that's out in Garden City. But if you can't get IMAX, walk into the nearest cinema close to you. This beats watching it on your phone, on your laptop. Don't wait until it comes out to screen. Go support this movie. Watch it on the big screen, and I promise you're gonna have a fantastic time at the cinemas. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our reviews of the day, and we are going to go into a short music break, and we will come back for our last and final segment, Read the Room, where we will be highlighting movies and TVs to watch based on what's happening globally in entertainment and in current affairs this week. And without further ado, I will give you Dive by Ed Sheeran. Take it away, DJ.
Or maybe I came on too strong. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe I played my cards wrong. Oh, just a little bit wrong. Oh, baby, I apologize for it. I could fall or I could fly here in your aeroplane. And I could live, I could die hanging on the words you say. And I've been known to give my all and jumping in harder than 10,000 rocks on the lake. So don't call me baby unless you mean it. And don't tell me you need me if you don't believe it. So let me know the truth before I dive right into you. You're a mystery. I've traveled the world and there's no other girl like you. No one. What's your history? Do you have a tendency to lead some people on? 'Cause I heard you do. I could fall or I could fly here in your aeroplane. And I could live, I could die hanging on the words you say. And I've been known to give my all and lie awake every day. Don't know how much I can take. So don't call me baby unless you mean it. And don't tell me you need me if you don't believe it. So let me know the truth before I dive right into you. I could fall or I could fly here in your aeroplane. And I could live, I could die hanging on the words you say. And I've been known to give my all and sitting back looking at every mess that I've made. So don't call me baby unless you mean it. And don't tell me you need me if you don't believe it. Let me know the truth before I dive right into you. Before I dive right into you. And before I dive right into you.
Country hat music.
Wanna do Boca Boca dogo. Skiza venye na waviu angle ya side mirror kakilori nimejibebe majicha kigosani fing bado sipo makinika sigoe mras kumagonga hadi rehab country nipige hype ni trace mamita jam down na nijipini toka 9 namba ni jamo bado zaibadilisha labda mtando ni wangore na class chuo tuliwai Saina wazoza na S-Class Sima ka Tesla magot Mindo Shepherd Chauffeurs Day Safari na jipeleka S-Class, S-Class, S-Class Convoy nda inaongoza ni Defender Strangers Z Strictly na kwaga members Backbencher ndani ya S-Class Backbencher ndani ya S-Class Zero mileage nda speedometer na chezea 260 Samahani kwenye yako kwa jikli Roll kiji kama dola na nidiki Neza jitengeneza busy Zero mileage nda speedometer na chezea 260 samahani kwenye yako kwa njikli roll kiji kama dola na nidiki neza jitengeneza business cash bila shortcut but road ikiwa na jam na tumia wrong turn very sure to the crash yes class Kigonya mepitishiwa stima kabonda na tumia kama Trojan kwa madem zao kwa vuli ya toja dirisha zikwe top ni hotbox na maboza kabaridi ni warm up full tank na medi kuzoza long time tuliwaii Saina wazoza na S-Class Stima ka Tesla magot Mindio Shepherd Chauffeurs Day Safari na jipeleka S-Class, S-Class, S-Class Convoy nda inaongoza ni Defender Strangers Z Strictly na kwaga members Backbencher ndani ya S-Class Backbencher ndani ya S-Class Ukizua tararuliwa rectum Feature your mom neza skia Mindio stepdad Disming kufanyia disinfectant Ni mapep tank beta na wapita uneza dhani wakuwa in motion wekeza mbona nake emotions ningekuwa the teacher mboka dobando moto anyway kayolezi ya waviu mohango ni side mirror kakilori nimejibebe majicha pigo sunnyfing bado sipo makinika sigoe mras kumagonga hadi rehab country nipige hype ni trace mamita jam down na nijipini toka 9 namba ni jamo bado zaibadilisha labda mtando ni wangore na class chuo tuliwaii
Shawty, I'm always keep it real. I know they for too much whining, they for too much whining. I see they be, I see shy you they enter. Oh yeah, make you call a beat. Oh yeah, show yourself, do a basabi. Love is in the air, baby breathe in. I dey available, baby anytime you need me, I dey available. Compatible, two of us they compatible. Girl I be bad boy for girls say I dey mellow. Ah baby I dey phone, baby take it slow, baby go down low. Nobody has to know, yeah I know I play around, my man on they should let you go. Baby, swing money, you know say you matching my steez. You know I'm a G, shawty I'm always keep it real. I know they for too much whining, they for too much whining. I see they be, I see shy you they enter. Oh yeah, make you call a beat. Oh yeah, show yourself, do a basabi. Love is in the air, baby breathe in. The way you move this your body in a way, banana. Catch me up, got me hands up, bottom. Beautiful way, personality, shut up. Make I enter your life, make every city balance. As I get opportunity, why I know go mountain. Actually, I go ready, nothing come out in my hand for your matter. They see girls say bad, but you bad. I'm okay, your waist, put me for bellow, push it bellow. I did this, the me no, baby, na me draw your kids, they above the law. After you, now you become uncle. Oh, baby, show up, get other girls jealous, but you are Birkin, matching my AB color. Treat you like a mama, Bambi on a honey. Baby, you're the one for me, oh. Money, you know say you matching my steez. You know I'm a G, shawty I'm always keep it real. I know they for too much whining, they for too much whining. I see they be, I see shy you they enter. Oh yeah, make you call a beat. Oh yeah, show yourself, do a basabi. Love is in the air, baby breathe in.
Hi, this is Eric Wanaina. Keep it locked here on Icon Radio, your #1 entertainment plug.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to our fantastic music break. We just had Baby, Is It a Crime by Rema. I know that's a classic for the Afrobeat lovers. Pointing us down to this very, very time of the hour of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Then we had some Energy from Backbencher by Lyrically. And we had a special shout out to a special someone of mine who requested for this. And we had Dive by Ed Sheeran. Fantastic lineup we have for you. Amazing music only on Certified Cinema. You're tuned into Icon Radio. And now we get to our final segment of the show. And we call this Read the Room. Now, in Read the Room, we like to highlight movies and TV shows to watch based on what's happening globally in entertainment and current affairs in this week. And this is a special curation of movies that you should watch this week based on what's hot in cinemas right now and what's trending socially within your circles, on the internet, and what to look forward to just to stay upbeat with what's currently happening around you. Because here at Certified Cinema, it's more than just entertainment. We'd like to educate you on some of the things, like we just had our special guest talking about loneliness, and those are things that are prevalent amongst our society because movies are stories by people with experiences, and we want to know what these experiences are and how they affect you, and that is the whole idea behind Read the Room. And so, for our first Read the Room recommendation, we have Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts dropped in cinemas in May 2nd, but it came to HD last week, but a correction from my earlier statement. It dropped in streaming 2 weeks ago, so if you missed it at the cinemas, you now have a chance to catch it at home on Disney Plus. Make sure you see Thunderbolts right now, and that is what has sparked our topic of the day today, which was loneliness. There are a lot of things happening right now that could make someone feel lonely. We are living in the advent of social media where there is a lot of comparison. We're having people coming from their homes and coming into adulthood. We've had Gen Z saying adulting is whooping my ass, and these are some of the things that could be triggers into loneliness. And our special guest NASSIM NKATHA has just broken down loneliness to us, how it looks like, what are the elements of loneliness, and how we can actually cope with that. And if you missed that interview because you're tuning in now, don't worry. The interview will be live on YouTube. Check us out on YouTube at Icon Radio KE. And next up, for our second Read the Room movie, we have I Know What You Did Last Summer. So this is the latest cinema release that will be dropping tomorrow. And I Know What You Did Last Summer, this is a 2025 remake of the classic 1997 horror slasher film by the same name, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it's the fourth overall. So we had I Know What You Did Last Summer, that was the first one. Then we had I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Always Know What You Did Last Summer, that dropped in 2006. And now we have the fourth installment, which is I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is the 2025 version. So if you're into horror films, if you're a fan of the franchise, or if you're just looking for something new to get into this weekend, this is your movie of the week. Thirdly, we have Sakamoto Days Season 2. Yeah, my anime people, we are eating properly this summer. Yeah, in July, we have Sakamoto Days Season 2, or rather as it's been called Part 2. We are following Sakamoto, who was a retired assassin, now full-time dad and a convenience store owner, taking up the role of mentor for a young assassin who is also recently retired, called Shin the Clairvoyant. And he is also trying to see what this life of a civilian can offer outside of the assassin life. But there's an evil looming in the name called Sla, and we ended Season 1 on a high. Season 2 is coming back, and Sla is coming and posing a threat, to Sakamoto's life, and also to the life of civilians at large. And so, will Sakamoto be pulled back into the assassin world because he has to step up and stop Sla, or will he stick true to his form and continue on his mentoring journey with Shin? And so, ladies and gentlemen, you can find Sakamoto Days on Netflix. Actually, episode 1 just dropped on Monday, and so we are expecting more next week. So, ladies and gentlemen, my anime people, I got you. We are eating properly. Sakamoto Days Part 2 has just dropped. So tune in on Netflix if you have an account and enjoy the anime goodness. And finally, the talk of the town. My shories, if you're listening to this, nimewafikia watu wa reality TV. We have Love Island USA season 7. The finale just dropped on Monday. So I know the conversation is going on. You know, you wanna pull me aside for a chat, right? I know that's what's hot. Who pulled who aside for a chat? Because it was the finale, the question to ask is who won, who walked away with their $100,000, and who walked away with love. You know, and I am happy to announce to you, ladies and gentlemen, that it is a bittersweet moment for me, but I consider myself a serious movie watcher, and so this is why this is bittersweet for me. And so I have succumbed to the hype, and I will also be watching Love Island USA season 7. Don't judge me. I want to see what all this hype is about, and this is also coming off hot off the heels of our topic last week, where we were talking about the death genre, and one of the inspirations for the death genre was not Love Island, reality TV, right? Love Island is smack dab in the middle of that, where where we're watching people in outrageous situations doing the best things, doing outrageous things for the sake of clout and for the sake of money. Yeah, this seems kind of absurd from the stories that I've been hearing. Given that people come from this show with a lot of followers and winning 100,000 USD. But all in all, it seems very entertaining, and so nothing beats a jet to holiday. You know the sound. So I will be tuning in, and I hope you will be tuning in to finally binge I Love Island USA season 7. It's now complete, and it is also it's available on Peacock for those who also subscribe to that. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, those are our read the room picks for today. Thunderbolts, I Know What You Did Last Summer, coming in theaters this Friday, Sakamoto Days on Netflix, and Love Island USA season 7 on Peacock. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the close of our show today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Certified Cinema. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation with our certified guest, our lovely guest for today, who was a psychologist by the name NASSIM. Thank you for being part of the conversation around loneliness. I hope it's been very insightful and very impactful. Make sure you have someone to lean into. Make sure you know how to catch the symptoms of loneliness, and that you have someone by your side who can help pull you out of the void. Thank you for listening to our reviews of Dan Da Dan and Superman. And if you haven't caught that, make sure you catch it in cinemas along with the rest of our Read the Room picks. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I have been your fantastic host for tonight, Campes Nawiri. Thank you for tuning in to Icon Radio, and this is Certified Cinema. See you this and every Thursday. Oh, not this, because we just concluded. See you next Thursday and every Thursday after that from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. only here on Icon Radio. And we will be closing our show with Burna Boy featuring Shabuzi, Change Your Mind, off his latest album No Sign of Weakness. And because that's how we do, your number one entertainment plug for all things movies, TV shows, and music. And so closing us off, Burna Boy featuring Shabuzi, Change Your Mind. See you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
it's hard to find. I'm hoping I can change your mind. I'm hoping I can change your mind.